Think your car is just a piece of metal that does not care how you treat it. Think again. Engines absolutely hold grudges against you. Those little daily driving habits you do not even think twice about are actually completely cruel to your engine, and while they seem totally harmless today, they are quietly adding up to a catastrophic mechanical failure. We are talking about the exact kind of internal damage that leaves you completely stranded on the side of a busy highway, waiting for a tow truck, dreading a massive repair bill that is going to max out your credit cards. The good news is, saving your engine is incredibly easy once you know exactly what you are doing wrong behind the wheel. Let us get right into the driving habits you need to stop doing immediately. You wake up, it is freezing outside, you jump in the car, start it up, and immediately step hard on the gas pedal to get the heater going, or to rush out of your driveway because you are late for work. This is without a doubt one of the fastest ways to shave years off your engine life. Car sits in the driveway overnight. All the engine oil drains completely down into the bottom oil pan, especially when ambient temperatures drop well below freezing. That oil is incredibly thick. It flows much more like cold syrup than a lubricating liquid. It needs a crucial moment to be pushed through the mechanical oil pump and circulate all the way up to coat the top end of the engine, specifically the camshafts, the cylinders, and the main bearings. If you rev an engine before the oil is fully up to operating temperature, those critical metal components are essentially scraping against each other completely dry. It is pure metal on metal violence. You might look at your coolant temperature gauge on the dashboard and think you are completely good to go the second the needle moves off the cold mark, but you have to remember this crucial automotive fact. Engine oil heats up much slower than engine coolant. So even if the water circulating in the block is warm, your oil might still be entirely too thick to properly protect the internal components under a heavy acceleration load. Just give your car a gentle 30 to 60 seconds of idling before you put the transmission in gear and drive smoothly, keeping the RPMs relatively low for the first 2 or 3 miles. Before we get into the hidden technical failures that destroy more modern engines than almost anything else on the road, if you want to keep your daily driver running well past 200,000 miles, hit that subscribe button right now so we can keep bringing you real-world garage advice. Let us talk about a habit that a lot of people actually think is helping their car, driving at super low RPMs just to save a little bit of gas. You might hear the mechanics call this grandpa mode or lugging the engine. If you drive a manual transmission or even an automatic that you manually hold in a high overdrive gear and you floor the gas pedal while you are cruising at only 1500 RPM, you are putting a massive, destructive strain on the bottom of your engine block. When you lug the engine like this, especially when you are going up a steep hill or carrying a heavy load of cargo, the mechanical oil pump and the water pump are spinning way too slowly to provide the adequate oil pressure and coolant flow your engine desperately needs at that specific high load state. The cylinders get dangerously hot. The protective oil film on the connecting rod bearings gets crushed under the immense pressure. And if you drive a modern, turbocharged gasoline direct injection engine, it can actually cause something called low-speed pre-ignition. This is an uncontrolled, violent secondary explosion inside the cylinder that can literally shatter a forged aluminum piston to pieces. If you need to accelerate hard to pass someone, let the transmission drop down a gear or downshift it yourself. Your engine strongly prefers to spin freely higher up in its power band rather than choking and shaking at the very bottom of the tachometer. Another silent engine killer is exactly how you manage your fuel level. I know plenty of people who treat the glowing low fuel warning light on their dash like it is just a friendly suggestion. They will drive their car for days until the gas needle is buried completely beneath the empty line. This is a terrible idea for any modern fuel-injected vehicle. Your primary electric fuel pump sits directly inside the plastic gas tank under the rear seat, and it actually relies entirely on the liquid gasolines surrounding it to act as a thermal heat sink. When you consistently run your gas tank down to absolute fumes, that pump motor is exposed to the dry air inside the tank. It overheats quickly, the copper internal windings degrade, and the motor eventually burns out prematurely. Replacing a high-pressure fuel pump on a modern SUV or a pickup truck usually means strapping the vehicle up on a shoplift and either dropping a massive, heavy gas tank or physically removing the entire truck bed just to reach the access port. This is easily an $800 to $1,200 job at any reputable independent shop. Make it a hard rule for yourself to fill up the tank the second you hit the quarter tank mark. Your wallet will certainly thank you later. Then there is the absolute worst enemy of any internal combustion engine ever built: uncontrolled heat. If you notice your engine temperature gauge creeping up past the middle mark, or even worse, you see a glowing red warning light on your dash, you cannot just turn up the radio and keep driving to the next highway exit, hoping it goes away. Overheating is never a problem that magically fixes itself. If an old rubber radiator hose bursts or your mechanical water pump fails, you instantly lose coolant pressure. Without that liquid coolant absorbing the combustion heat, the aluminum cylinder head warps almost instantly from the extreme temperatures. Cast iron blocks used to handle heat better, but modern all-aluminum engines warp and crack incredibly fast. When the cylinder head warps, you blow the head gasket, allowing engine oil and coolant to violently mix together into a thick, milky milkshake inside the crankcase. Best case scenario here: you are looking at a massive engine teardown that costs thousands in labor alone. Worst case, the engine block completely seizes up, the pistons weld to the walls, and you need a complete replacement motor. If you see thick white steam pouring out from under the hood or the temperature gauge pegs all the way to the right side, safely pull over immediately and turn the engine off. Calling a tow truck for $150 is vastly cheaper than paying $6,000 for a brand new engine swap. Here is a terrible driving habit almost everyone does when they are rushing around a crowded parking lot. You are backing out of a parking spot, and before the car completely stops rolling backwards, you yank the shifter violently from reverse straight into drive and aggressively hit the gas pedal. This is incredibly abusive to your automatic transmission, your drive shaft, and your rubber engine mounts. Inside that transmission case, there are highly complex planetary gear sets, heavy-duty metal bands, and very delicate friction clutch packs. When you shift gears while the car is physically moving in the opposite direction, you are forced those internal transmission components to physically stop the forward momentum of a massive 4,000-pound vehicle, instead of using your brake pads like you are legally supposed to. Over time, this extreme rotational shock shreds the transmission internals, snaps the heavy-duty rubber engine mounts right in half, and leads to extremely harsh, clunky gear shifting down the road. Just press the brake pedal firmly, come to a complete dead stop, and then shift your car. It takes exactly 1 extra second of your time and easily saves you from a $3,000 transmission rebuild. We are about to cover the most critical, yet frequently ignored, chronic maintenance issue that literally turns perfectly good engines into useless driveway ornaments. But before we reveal the exact mechanical failure you absolutely must avoid at all costs, make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss any of our upcoming deep dives into keeping your daily driver completely reliable. Stop ignoring the dark puddles forming on your concrete driveway. Cars are not supposed to mark their territory. Every single fluid in your vehicle has a specific color and a highly crucial engineering job. A bright red or brownish puddle usually means leaking transmission fluid or failing power steering fluid. Bright green, orange, or pink fluid usually means engine coolant is escaping the pressurized system. And thick, dark brown or black liquid is obviously engine oil. If you have a slow oil leak from a dried-out rubber valve cover gasket or a failing rear main seal, you are not just making a dirty mess on the pavement. You are slowly but surely starving your engine of its vital lifeblood. If engine oil drips directly onto a scorching hot exhaust manifold while you are driving, it can literally start a chemical fire under the hood. If your brake fluid is leaking from the rusted steel brake line, your brake pedal is going to drop straight to the floorboard when you try to stop at red light, putting your life and other drivers in severe danger. Never ignore a fluid leak under your car. Catching a small drip early turns a massive mechanical failure into a simple, cheap weekend gasket replacement in your garage. And that finally brings us to the absolute ultimate sin of car ownership. Driving with chronically low engine oil or pushing your oil changes way past the factory recommended interval. I cannot tell you how many times people just put a piece of black tape over the maintenance reminder light on their dash. When engine oil gets extremely old, the constant heat and mechanical friction break down its molecular structure completely. It turns from a slippery, smooth protective liquid into a thick, gritty, abrasive sludge. This nasty black sludge permanently clogs up the microscopic oil passages inside your engine block, starving the complex valve train, ruining the sensitive variable valve timing solenoids, and destroying the main connecting rod bearings. Engines like the GM 3.6-litre V6 or the Ford 5.4 Triton V8 are absolutely notorious for stretching their heavy-duty timing chains and destroying their cam phasers, simply because owners neglected to change their dirty oil. Add constantly low oil levels to this terrible mix. You have a guaranteed recipe for total engine destruction. The less oil you actually have sitting in the oil pan, the harder the remaining oil has to work to cool the inside, and the hotter it gets. Once oil reaches its critical thermal breakdown point, it completely stops lubricating. Your internal engine temperature skyrockets. Forged tail components literally weld themselves together from the intense friction, and your engine locks up tight while you are driving down the interstate. You are walking to the dealership to buy a new car. Do not believe the crazy marketing hype from the manufacturers that you can safely 15,000 miles on a single oil change if you do heavy, stop and go city driving. Stick to a 4,000 to 7,000 mile interval with a high-quality full synthetic oil, and actually check your physical dipstick every few times you stop to fill up at the gas station. Your engine is the beating heart of your vehicle. Avoiding these lazy, everyday bad habits is going to save you thousands of dollars in shop diagnostic fees, extend the reliable life of your car for years, and give you much better MPG and performance along the way. Take care of your machine, and it will definitely take care of you. I want to hear directly from you guys right now. Jump down into the comments section and let me know exactly what kind of vehicle you are driving every day, what the highest mileage you have ever hit on an original engine is, and what weird fault codes or annoying engine issues you are currently dealing within your own garage. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button for more zero-nonsense automotive truth, and keep those engines running strong.